Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Here are 4 ways that you can use to get your first coaching or consulting client. Now, it is a truth universally known that growing your business is tough. I could literally end this podcast here right now because everybody else who's a coach, consultant, or small, medium business person understands that, growing any online business or any physical business is a tough endeavor. And that's the reason why not so many people go past the 3-year mark. That's why so many people don't go past maybe the 5-year mark if you are lucky to, skate through the 3-year mark. Because, if you're cold calling your potential clients and having them hang up in your face, that could put an enormous strain on your emotions, or on your own confidence, or maybe you're sending out hundreds of emails without even getting as much as, hey, thank you, Sally, for reaching out. I was waiting for this information. I really wanted to know how your solutions can help me, solve my problems. Or you're out there listening to all the gurus that are telling you to spend thousands of dollars on ad spend, and you're not even generating any qualified leads. It's a sad sight when people come to me and say, hey, I've been trying to do this by myself and I've been told these best practices, but to no avail. And I just start looking at them and I'm like, bro, do you even lead generate? You know what I mean? And sometimes it can actually feel like, if no one wants to buy whatever it is that you're selling, and maybe you're relying on your business, you just left your career to start your own job, your own business. Yeah, it is a proverbial job, and you're relying on that business to then, pay your bills, pay rent, put food on the table. Man, it really will put an enormous strain on your emotions, and you're probably terrified and having to give up on your dreams. And maybe you're now contemplating to return to that 9 to 5 job with your tail tucked between your legs if you can't bring in any new clients. First of all, I want to tell you that you're not alone. Okay, many coaches, many consultants, many small to medium businesses are having trouble finding even their first client. They go through the lengths of creating a business model or writing a business plan, or being seen on TikTok, being seen on Facebook, being seen on Instagram. Yet they have no clients that they're serving. Yet if they do get a client that they're serving, it's a very difficult relationships, and there's a lot of misfits out there because you end up accepting anyone with a pulse and a credit card, just so that you have a sale on the board. Well, I want to offer you a few ideas to help you get out of this ebb and flow or feast or famine, and go out and actually win your first coaching client or your first consulting client. The reason why I'm saying this is I just got off a call with they're not a potential customer, but it's somebody who saw my website out there, and then they showed up and they booked a call, just like what you're supposed to do, so that I can work with you and develop your strategic plan and really dive deep and find out your ideal client, figure out your strategic messaging, and really lay out your coaching or consulting offers. So obviously, our marketing is out there. There's no telling who shows up on it. And this lady, I felt really sorry for her because she says she's been going, through every course. She's been doing everything, And just spending 30 minutes with her changed her life because, first of all, she didn't even have an offer. Second of all, she was just out there. She was told you have to be visible, on social media. And I'm like, with what message? To what audience? All of those she didn't have an answer to. She had some sort of an avatar, which is basically somebody who's 36 and working as a professional. And I just told her one thing that completely, stopped her in her tracks. I was like, you need to market to a mindset. This whole demography has been morphed. Look at the media right now. There's no distinction between man and woman. There's no distinction between, a sex or anything of that nature. Right now, you just want to appeal to people that are going where your solutions can help them solve their problems. That's a mindset. And I mean, obviously, if you're listening to this, you would definitely understand what I'm saying. So, with utmost love and respect, your challenge, should you choose to accept it, is getting to be visible, right? So that your ideal clients know that you exist, so that they are there to be able to hire you. People are not going to hire you if they don't know of your existence. All right. People are not going to hire you if they don't think that your solutions are what they're looking for out there. People are not going to hire you if you haven't clarified your message. People are not going to hire you if you haven't determined what media you're going to be reaching out to them. If you haven't got a way, a system, or a process to capture those leads and nurture those leads in a systematic fashion so that people get to know you, like you, and trust you, you, my friend, are just spraying and praying with your marketing. And also, I hear you saying, Prosper, come on. Marketing is not all I do. I need to make sure that I've got a program. I need to make sure I've got an offer. I need to make sure that my fees are competitive. My pricing is good. I've got a proper business model. My business model is optimized for who I want to reach out to there. And I'm like, I understand. I get you. I hear you. As an entrepreneur, marketing is just one small, tiny aspect of running a successful business. You know what I mean? You go from hiring and managing staff or outsourcing work to people like myself, and then you want to balance your books, you want to drive growth and a whole lot more other things. And it all feels like maybe a constant balancing act where you're pulled in multiple different directions all at once. And I hear you, Sally. I hear you, John. At the end of the day, your real goal is just to help your clients. Your real goal is to offer your consulting, your training, your information, your expertise, your paid speaking to the clients that want to hear from you. But I've got a question for you, my friend. How do you find these people? Who are these people that you will then spend all your time changing their lives and solving their problems? How do you find these people? There's usually 4 places for you to look, and some people don't quite stop there. When was the last time you told your grandma what you're doing? Your grandma goes to bingo. Your granddad, hangs out at the local cafeteria with other old people from his generation, or at the RSL, or at some sort of a community where they're playing bowls or things that the elderly are doing these days. When was the last time you sat down and you told them, Mom, I've got this new consulting that I'm doing. Granddad, I'm into training now and I work with coaches and consultants. I give people information and they give me money. When was the last time you spoke to your teacher? The teacher that taught you mathematics in grade 4 or English in grade 6? Your first degree connections have much more value. You know why? They know you and they want to see you succeed. These are people that know you by name, people that have had experience of you in person. You just want to reframe their point of reference, how they remember you as, All right. These people know you as that, little girl that used to cry every time you were not picked in class, or every time that you were running a race, in your junior high or in high school, you always made sure you came out first. That's how they remember you. But do they remember you as a person who's now changing people's lives and solving people's problems? And you wonder why they never talk about you at bingo. You wonder why they don't talk about you at a barbecue, because they don't know what you do. When was the last time you told your parents, your sisters, your brothers, your sisters-in-law, and when you're at a party or when you're at a gathering with the family, when have you ever discussed your work and what it is that you have gone out to do? Sometimes we're embarrassed because maybe we haven't got results, but in our first degree connections, if maybe you're just getting started and you want to find maybe that first consulting or coaching client, the first thing you should do is leverage your first degree connections. And who are these people? These are the people that you directly connected to. I was talking about your teacher. I was talking about people that actually know you by name. And that could be as simple as just sending an email, to them. And the people that when you send an email to would open it and respond. Or to whom, if you give them a call, they would stop whatever they're doing and have a conversation with you because they know who you are. Now, these are the connections that you would want to invite directly, maybe to lunch or to coffee, and then reframe the box in which they already have put you in. You don't want them knowing you as that teenager who used to get drunk or get drugged up, and now you've changed. Now you're a consultant. Now you're a coach. Let them know what it is that you're doing now. These are the people that you know. These are the people that care about you. Maybe you don't know all of them very well, or they don't maybe know you that well, but they would know who you are. This is the low-hanging fruit. These people, even if they are not your direct customers today, but at least they will talk about you at a barbecue. At least they'll talk about you wherever they go, because maybe they're sitting in a saloon, somebody's getting their hair done, and they start talking about, I'm going through a divorce, and your aunt just remembers that you've become a divorce lawyer or a divorce coach. And then they'll be like, hey, why don't you talk to my niece or nephew? You want to reach out to these people right away, because they are an army of salespeople that are willing and are able to actually defend you in a court of law. So they will be able to pass on the message to somebody else, even if nothing comes out of it this year, next year, or whatever it is. But as long as they have now a different way of defining who you've become, they will go out of their way to try and make sure that you succeed. So you want to reach out to all of these people. All right, don't hold back. Go after all of them. All of them. Let them know what you're doing right now. Find out what they also are up to, because maybe they've started a business and you guys can communicate and correspond and actually collaborate. Right? Look to see where they are. If there's any potential ways that you might be able to support them. Help enough people get what they want, and then you too, my friend, will get what you want. And help them by actually helping them. That's a great place to start. Yet I see many coaches and consultants, they don't want to do that because maybe they're embarrassed. Maybe they haven't gotten the level of success that they think is now enough for them to be seen in the local space. You see, I see this even with celebrities in Australia. There's not that many celebrity type people in Australia, because we are, a multicultural, community. And why I'm saying this is I'm African, right? And within Africa, there's about 52 different countries. I'm not quite sure. I stand corrected. But there's that many countries: Kenya, Congo, South Africa, Malawi, all the Burundi, all those places, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, all of those countries in Southern Africa. Each and every one of them has their own celebrities. And each and every one of them has their own likings, right? So that's the same here in Australia. There's Italians, there's Greek, there's the English descents, there's Africans who are also different segments of that African, region. And when somebody is Australian and there may be a comedian or maybe some sort of a celebrity within a sort of space, they're only known by people that are within that cultural connect. Until that person goes out to the US or goes out to England and represents Australia, that's when everybody then bands together and supports that person. Look it up. People like Delta Goodrum, every one of these celebrities, they were good here in Australia, but up until they went overseas and they represented Australia, that's when they bended everyone and they now became famous. So you want to start with the low-hanging fruit, the people that are closer to you. And I'm not just talking about, just think of people you think are the right kind of people or who will be ideal clients. I mean, talk to everybody. All right? Because sometimes, what will happen is somebody that who you don't think is an ideal client may actually be somebody who can be a client in the future. Oh, you don't know who they know, because each and every one of us is connected to about 250 people, and that's how human beings, sort of connect each other. And then they've calculated that to say we've got 6 degrees of separation. I've heard of stories where, a coach or consultant talked to somebody like maybe their school teacher. Remember, I gave that example of a school teacher that they knew, and maybe the teacher, or maybe somebody who's a teacher of one of your kids. And then when the teacher is going out and having their hair done or something during the weekend, they actually find a customer for them. Or maybe, somebody in a hairdressing salon or at a barbecue overhears somebody talking about the kind of work that you do. You know what they'll say? One of my students or one of my students' parents is doing exactly what you're facing right now. I'll be happy to connect you. Even if it's that loose of a connection, at least it is something to go with. I've connected with people at parties. You know what I mean? Like the last client that I signed up at a party was 2 months ago. It was a 1-year-old birthday party, and the guy's a landscaper. We just started talking, and then all of a sudden, he obviously, I know much about marketing, and I was just giving him pointers. And he was like, stop whatever you're doing. Give me your business card. I want to work with you. You never know who you're going to run into. Just keep talking to people. And that would never happen if they don't know what I'm doing right now. There's always a chance. And that chance is open for you to take advantage of. Go for those people that you actually know. So right now, stop whatever you're doing. Stop listening to this podcast. Pause it. And reach out to all your first degree connections. You know them by name. They are saved in your phone number or in your LinkedIn or on your Facebook. Maybe it's everybody that you've worked with in the past. Whether you were, their boss, you were a vendor, a supplier, a friend, a relative, anybody that you have connected with and said hi to is game. Anyone that you know. Just reach out to them and let them know what you're up to, what has changed, and how you'll be able to look after them or solve their problems. And while you're doing that, you might come across some people that are second-degree connections. So you might know some people that you want to be connected with, but your first-degree connections might be the link to that person. Because second-degree connections are the people that you don't quite know directly, but somebody that knows that person. So if you don't know the ideal client directly, right? But you know that this person knows your auntie or has worked with your brother, you just want to reach out to your brother and say, hey, can you connect me to this second degree connection? So what you want to do now is connect with these people, your first degree connections, and then they'll connect you to those second degree connections. You just reach out to them and say, hey, Sally, I see you're connected to this manager for this business. Can you put me in touch with them? And they'll be more than happy to do that because people love helping, others succeed. And in many cases, they'll absolutely say yes. You know what I mean? And if they don't say maybe yes, or if they don't know that person intimately, or if they don't respond, then you can actually go directly to that person and say, hey, I know you know my aunt. I am so and so, and I believe we've got something in common with my aunt. And you can often start a conversation like that. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. It is people at the end of the day that are going to be paying your bills. It is people at the end of the day that are going to be signing those contracts. It is people at the end of the day that you're going to be solving problems for. You're not solving problems for companies. So a great place for you to start is on your LinkedIn. Every person that you're connected with, now start going through who they're also connected with. Reach out to about 10 different people every single day. I always tell this to one of my marketing proteges, and I'm like, just reach out to people. Don't, second guess whether they're going to accept your outreach or not. Because LinkedIn will show you who your first degree connections are and who your secondary connections are. And then you can filter some based on the criteria that you're looking for, your ideal clients. So you want to use and leverage those first degree connections. That's the reason why I stayed a whole lot longer on your first degree connections, so that once you have that down packed, you open yourself up to their connections and connections of connections and connections of connections. Before you know it, you're now connected to the king or the queen or whoever is running the world today. I mean, they can chop and change whenever they feel like it, right? And once you've got that in place, you can literally directly outreach even to third degree connections. So just do direct outreach based on who you're connected with. So this sort of touches on what I've already mentioned, and it's a dynamic of just going directly based on the loose connections that you have. You can reach out to somebody who's a third degree connection and say, hey, I see that you're connected with my auntie who is a lawyer. I don't know if you've worked with her, but I'm also working with her, and I figured, if I'm helping her, then maybe I'll be also able to help you. Whatever level of trust that outreach person has on your aunt or the person that you know is directly transferred to you. Now the onus is now on you to prove them wrong. Right? So just go directly out there. Reach out to people. Especially when you reach out to people, you're not going out to just sell. Find out how you can help people. And don't spam people. Don't go in with hype or promotion or negative energy or just scarcity mindset. Just go in, reach out and find out how you can help them. So instead, especially if you're in the coaching and consulting business, you want to just be focused on adding value and creating relationships and being relevant to the audience that you want to demand money off of later. Just reach out to them. Find out what's going on. Let them know, that you're available. Comment in an article that they wrote. People are proud when they get featured in the news. Comment about, wow, this is amazing. I'd like to maybe interview you on a couple of topics depending on your industry. Let me tell you something. If you're going to be a good coach or consultant, or whatever it means in your business, it means you already have the expertise to, help people understand whatever it is your subject matter is. So your challenge is not your skills or your expertise. Your challenge is connecting with the right people, connecting them with your message, connecting them, with the media that you're going to be using. So your challenge is marketing. You know what I mean? You want to spend as much time as possible changing people's lives and solving people's problems. That's what you signed up for when you started this business. And your challenge is to be seen. Your challenge is to be seen in the marketplace, adding value. So how do you do that if you don't have people to add value to? How are people going to know of your existence if you're not talking to them? How are people going to know of the value you bring to the marketplace when you don't show them? How are people going to know that you're you have changed your character? You are now in a different place when you're not actually helping them by actually helping them. My friend, your challenge, like I said earlier on, should you choose to accept it, is to get visible so that your ideal clients get to know of your existence. How are people going to buy from you if they don't know you are alive or you can solve said problems that you're solving? People will hire you if they know what it is that you can do for them. Direct outreach is a really good step for you to take. Once you have finished your inner circle and the second sort of generation connections that you might have, directly reach out to people that are loosely connected to you. And when you show up on somebody's doorstep, sell them what they want to buy, not necessarily showing up with the packages or the systems and processes that you have. You know? It's just about how you then start to think of winning these clients fast. The key is to sell what people want to buy. You know, a lot of, coaches or consultants make this mistake when they're getting started. They try and force whatever methodology that they have or whatever packages that they have spent all this time creating, and they just offer it to, down the throat of a buyer. And if the buyer doesn't want it, or if they don't resonate with that product or service, and or maybe it doesn't really solve whatever current problem that the person is facing, then they leave them like that. Connect with people, create relationships. If people are not your ideal client today, it doesn't mean they're not going to be your ideal client 6 months down the line. It doesn't mean they are not, your ideal client, or they're not an ideal referral partner. I've got people that I haven't worked with, and people that know of me, know about me, that are referring clients to me. Yeah? So the key issue here is just to create conversations with ideal clients, and you never know where these conversations can emanate from. Find out what people want by having these conversations. Find out what's happening in the marketplace, and go and create for and relate to the people that you want to be connected with. At the end of the day, you really want to create for and relate to the audience that you're going to be demanding money off of. Find out what they're looking for right now and then offer it to them. Would something like this, work for you? At the end of the day, people might not know what it is that you can offer up until you have shown them results. You have shown them that you can help them by actually helping them. And it now becomes easier when you have shown people what it is to then sell your concept or your methodology, because now they have a point of reference. So just figure out what it is that you want, and then how you can position your offerings and your expertise so that it aligns with where people are, and then offer it as a path for you to actually solve people's problems and have them getting the result that they're looking for. So these are 4 steps. There's a lot more, but you just want to start with the people close to you. And if you follow any of these 4 steps and you work them consistently, your first degree connections, your second degree connections, your third degree connections, you can simply be doing this week in, week out. You'll be able to land your first client much faster and make a lot more progress and feel a little bit more momentum in your early days of business, instead of you just showing up on Facebook like what coaches are doing lives that nobody attends or watches, or doing videos or creating courses that nobody wants you to do. I just wish you great success especially with this information. And I hope it's going to help you turn around your business right now, because I only start working with people that are already earning around 200K and they want to reach 2 million within 2 years. And I can show you how to do this. So just feel free to reach out, or maybe you can jump on our website, www.livelongdigital.com.au/resources, where you'll find many resources that will help you grow your coaching or consulting business. Or if you're brave enough and you're already making 200K, you want to scale to 2 million, reach out. Let's have a chat. We'll work hands-on, and I'll develop a strategic plan for you, and then we'll deep dive and work through your ideal client so you have the clarity of who you exactly are working with and what results are they after. And then we'll work on your strategic messaging, because without a message, all that marketing is just for waste. And then we'll formulate your offers. And then we'll formulate the pricing, and your business model will optimize it so that it works and suits who you are and your delivery. And then last but not least, we'll just help you set up your marketing engine and your lead generation system so that you can constantly attract ideal clients so you never go through any famine again. I can't wait to see what you're going to do with this information. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au